Expat expectations versus reality. All right. When you start getting the desire to move somewhere else to another country or to start traveling, whether it's slow, whether it's fast, you're going every place, different places every couple of weeks, or you're staying, you're living somewhere for 6 months to a year and then moving on. Your expectations are likely coming from whatever maturity level you're at. And when I use the word maturity and immaturity, when I say immature, I'm not using it in the sense that we think. When we name call someone immature, we're often calling them like a baby or something. I'm just referring to it as a different level, usually lower than what we're talking about, a different level of maturity than what we're referring to. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Even the smartest people, the most mature people, still have immaturities in different areas of their life. Okay, they may be very mature in like their financial skills and discipline and knowledge. They may be very immature in their social connection ability. Someone may be very mature as a carpenter and really know how to build a house well. They may be really emotionally immature. Okay, so it's not a bad thing. We all started, at different points in our lives. We were very low maturity in different things. Okay, no one's born with a high level of maturity, so it's not a bad thing. But when you start having a desire, you're looking at travel vlogs, you're looking at different videos, reading things. It's likely aligning with where you are at in life and what your desires are. Okay, so when I first started thinking about it, number one, I'm like, yes, the island life. I went to Jamaica when I was 21. And once I left there, I was like, that was awesome. It was an all-inclusive resort. And this was my immaturity. I was like, why doesn't everyone live on an island? Not really thinking through things that when you go live there, you don't go live on an all-inclusive resort. Okay, I had tons of fun on that resort and exploring Montego Bay where we were at. But I don't have a vacation budget to live off of. So I'm so glad. I looked into moving to Jamaica right away when I got back. This is like 2001, 2002. And I'm so glad that I didn't go into it further, but I never let the dream die inside me. And so, I got married, I got divorced. And then once my dog died in 2016, 2017, I was like, it's now or never, And so I went to Puerto Rico. And again, I wasn't, my maturity rate was where it was at. I was like parties, girls, having good time, drinking. I mean, those were the things I was into at that time. Island life, beaches, just having a blast, having a good time. All right. And I went there and I did a handful of things. But as I've developed myself and worked on my own emotional intelligence and maturity, my own spiritual practices, now, being in Guatemala, that stuff doesn't appeal to me. I don't drink anymore. I don't party anymore. I don't go out much. I have friends. I have a social circle, but it's people that are aligned with where I'm at. Okay, so the expectations I had did become my reality. But social media wasn't around then, and really wasn't super big in 2016 when I eventually moved to Puerto Rico and left the United States. I know it's a territory, but left the United States, the mainland, for the first time. All right, and we get tantalized by all these reels, all these travel vlogs, and we see it, and it teases our mind that, number one, we see that, we project ourselves into that, whatever the person is showing. We're like, hey, me doing that looks like I would have fun doing that. Me seeing those things, experiencing those smells, tasting that food, being with those people, seeing these, temples or different entertainment things, historical sites, would be something that I like. And it very well may, okay? But when you get there, then reality hits, all right? And then you realize that you got to rebuild your social circle, all right? You got to find a source of income, whatever that's going to be. You got to do the logistics, find an apartment, find out how you're going to get around, find out how to move money around, move money from the States or Europe or wherever to the location you're going to get at so you can spend. And so it's a lot of times these are different. Our expectations do create reality, but when we watch these films, we watch these YouTubes, these Instagram reels, I think it teases us with a different level of reality, or a different reality than what we're going to experience when they're there. Because we all know, like, I don't need to tell you this, but even telling you this, watching the reels and stuff still tricks our mind, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna have fun, just like these people in the video, when they're really just showing you the best parts of their vacation, or the best parts of their life. They're going to a cafe and they're doing a bunch of filming, and they're giving you 2 minutes of 1 second clips, and it just looks amazing. Close-ups of the drinks, close-ups of the food, scanning the the restaurant, the cafe, or the amusement park, or the Buddhist temple, and it's giving us a different glimpse, a kind of like a false glimpse of what it's actually going to be like. And we know that. We all intellectually know that. You watch this channel, you know that. But even with that knowledge, the algorithms are smarter than us, okay? We have to be very disciplined with these things. And it teases our mind that that's what it's going to be like. There's nothing wrong with being teased, but also understand that, hold that here, and also have this over here, that remind yourself that the reality may likely won't be the same. It could be similar, but they're showing you the best. Again, they're not showing you the things like finding their apartment, what they had to go through when they signed a lease, but then something happened with the landlord and they got screwed out of their money. I'm not saying that happens all the time. It hasn't happened to me, but it does happen to people. So again, whatever your maturity level is at, that's likely what your expectations are going to be, because your maturity level is driving you to follow people of similar maturity levels, okay? Or maybe a little bit more, or maybe a little bit less mature, okay? Maybe, I'm thinking of guys, maybe you're at some certain level with your relationships in your life, but you see a guy who's, passport bros, playboys, and I'm not saying, there's anything wrong with that. It's how does it affect you? Is it good for you? Look, chasing women is there's nothing wrong with going through a phase of that in your life, but letting that become your life and becoming a content creator about that type of lifestyle, look, just my opinion, what do I know? Nothing, but I think there's healthier ways and healthier things to do with your life, okay? Healthier sites to set your vision on, okay? So our maturity kind of sets our expectations. Our expectations and our maturity have us going to these different YouTube channels, these different Instagram channels, and then that's just a feedback cycle. And look, that's just how it is, all right? And as we grow and we grow, or we go down, which happens, look, it's not any type of growth, whether it's your financial, your portfolio, your career, your relationships. It's never just I figured it out and it's flying sky high. A lot of times it's like kind of like a stock chart, that a stock going up. It's got ups and downs, but gradually it's going up. And I hope that's how it is for you. But know that there are going to be some downtimes. All right, it's not going to be just pure bliss the whole time. Again, that's just part of the journey. That's how it is. There's nothing bad. There's nothing wrong about it. I don't want life to be complete bliss the whole time, because then I would be devastated if there ever is a bad time, because I'm not used to it. I'm glad life has its ups and downs. Helps us appreciate the highs and helps us get through the lows. And both of them are just part of life. Just like eating a good steak and smelling someone's fart, someone else's, that's just absolutely disgusting, is part of life, okay? Yeah, we don't want to be there. We don't want to be in that big gas cloud, but it's just part of life, and that's what makes it rich, okay? So expectation, maturity, reality, likely gonna somewhat align with that. It's gonna be in a gradient, but it's gonna be different than the curated, clipped up, high def travel vlog that you're watching. So just be aware as you're deciding where you want to go. Keep that in the back of your mind. This looks cool. I really like what they're showing me here. I want to experience that. But I'm going to have my own reality when I get there. I'm going to have my own, things to get through when I get there. I may like that and that'll be great, or I may get involved in something else, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so go out there, explore the world, and have some fun. You know, if you have the means to do it, have some fun, go do it, experience that growth, and try to reach those next levels of maturity as you do, and then share it with others. Help others along the way. Share your story. We need more people with good hearts creating content, and less of us personally, just doom scrolling and going through it. And that even, I'm even saying that for my own channel. Feel free to turn this off and then go live your life, go experience life, go feel alive. And we just need more of that. Touch, as I say, it's kind of overused, but touch some grass. Touch some grass, feel the rain on your face, go walk on the beach without your phone, go swim in the ocean, go hold someone's hand, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, and just live. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.